What's going on, movie fans? Welcome to MovieRounders.com, the world's first 360-degree movie review site. I'm Matt, Bethany, Tony, and Daniel, and we are here to review Knives Out. Bethany, why don't you start?
Keep going to me first. I wanted to not like this movie because I have a grudge against Rian Johnson from The Last Jedi. So I wanted to like it, but I also was like, if I don't like it, perfect. But I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really good. I, technically speaking, picked the right murderer, too. So I was very satisfied with that. It's not too easy to predict at first. It does get a little predictable, but it's not predictable in a bad way, which is always good. Like, that's the issue we had with 21 Bridges. It was so predictable that it was bad because it didn't do anything interesting with how it was predictable. Whereas with Knives Out, it gets a little predictable, but you're well into the movie at this point, and how they get there and what they continue to do from there is really cool. And he ties all his little, I guess they would be called Chekhov's guns, basically, together really well in the, like, it comes up here, so it gets connected there at the end. So everything gets tied up nice and neat. There's a few things that I'm nitpicky about that we might get into. I don't know. They might be spoilery, so maybe not. But there's a few things that I was like, Cinnamon Sins is probably going to nail them for it. Yeah. But overall, I enjoyed it.
All right. Daniel.
Oh, okay. Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a good movie. It could have been really bad, like you say. It could have been really bad. And I think they sort of spun it when it should have been spun. Like they did something that should have been done to keep down on the predictability of it. So I think it was refreshing in that sense, and I'm glad that they did that. And I really liked it. So yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
Tony?
I really like this.
Yeah.
I all along was worried that I was not going to enjoy Daniel Craig's accent. He's got this very southern kind of thing going. They made
CSI KFC?
Yeah, they made fun of it inside of the movie, which was a smart choice, I thought. And I got used to it pretty quick. But at first I'm like, oh, this is going to kill me. It's going to pull me out of the story. Ended up not doing that. Ended up being where it actually ends up being a little bit about his character and the kind of style that it is. So they did some things in this where, and I don't want to say how it is, but it wasn't for the viewer a whodunit all the way through, because they do it in a way that I wasn't expecting.
Right.
And then that in itself makes it kind of really interesting.
Exactly.
Had not expected that, and that made it real kind of nice, because then you're watching this kind of interplay between the detectives and the people, and it was just an inventive way to do it. So for me, I enjoyed it. I liked the pacing of it. His accent didn't bother me. So I thought it was good.
21 Bridges, take note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who boy, you guys are not going to like me. I did not,
You did not like
care
it?
for this movie, and I really should have. This movie is catered straight to me. I love murder mysteries. I loved all the actors in it. The writing was good. Daniel Craig bothered me a lot with the accent. It didn't take me out of the movie, but it did bother me. Here's the thing. They didn't do a multiple killer thing. Spoiler
Murder on
alert.
the Orient Express.
I was happy about that. It wasn't no Murder on the Orient Express.
Right.
And
Which is refreshing.
everything at the end came together, a nice little bow. I like that. You know, they don't just leave you on a cliffhanger there. My problem is, it's not really non-linear storytelling, but the way they told the story, I didn't really care for. As Tony alluded to earlier, I didn't care that they chose to do one thing right there in the middle and then try to kick their way out of it towards the end. I like mine to be, all right, let's figure out who did it. Let's go through the whole movie, and oh my gosh, that's the person who did it. This told it in a little bit different way. I understand why he did it, because it is unique. It's something more original than what you see out there. It kind of took me out of the movie. Like I said, halfway through when they did what they did, I was like, I don't think that was the right move. So for me, I didn't really care for Knives Out. I think a lot of the family, other than having their little individual stuff at the beginning, they were wasted in it, because it focused on just a few characters throughout the movie, and it put them in the background. I thought they should have focused on them a little bit more, and that I had some problems with the
Yeah, because
movie.
you can't even really name the characters that it did focus on because it gives away
Yeah,
who it is.
I don't want to try to give anything away.
Yeah, no, because
But you know what? The very thing that you don't like was what made it interesting to me. Because it was like, oh, okay, this is how we're going to tell the story.
yeah,
And then it made it where it was more about the interactions between the people and less. It was almost like less
predictable.
It was less predictable, but I found myself less trying to figure out who the person was and more about, oh, that's kind of neat. And you're watching these uncomfortable moments and things.
you're trying to see how someone's going to get out of it.
Yeah. So it was actually kind of cool that way. To me, that was a different way to tell a story like this, which made it.
But then also when you get to the end, you're like, everything's tied up in a nice little bow, and the good person won in the end. When you watch it and you think back on it, you're like, now how did that work? Because that person might not have been your person at the end. But
it's hard to do this without giving anything.
they did a whole lot of lying throughout the thing, and that person should have been arrested as well. So yeah, I had some problems with it. I had some problems with the way the story was told, not so much the movie itself. But so Bethany, go ahead and give us your rating.
I give it a 4. I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of my favorite movies from the year. Like I said, there's just this one part where the storytelling to me, like, it's a big plot hole. And if CinemaSins doesn't nail them on it, I'll be surprised, because it's kind of like, well, if you had taken 3 minutes longer, like, you know, like, it's really hard not to spoil the scene. I want to discuss it so bad. But it's like, you know, if they had just paid attention a little bit more right here, like, but then in itself, the movie wouldn't have happened either if, you know, it wouldn't have gone on as it did, essentially. So that's the one, like, really nitpicky thing I have about it. If I go back and watch it again, I might find something else that I didn't like. Just add reasons on to not like Rian Johnson.
Yes.
But, yeah, no, 4.
All right. Daniel?
Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to give you this little. Growing up, my whole life, I've watched stuff. You know, Columbo, Rockford Files, you name it, Murder She Wrote, all that mess. What's the guy from France? I even watched that one. What was it?
Pink Panther?
Poirot. You know, I've been watching Poirot. I'm into that kind of stuff. So, you know, to me, I don't think I've ever seen this storyline, which was kind of refreshing because, you know, I'm a stickler for storylines, and I hate predictability, and I hate, you know, the same kind of stuff, blah, 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 Murder on the Orient Express, blah, you know, so this was good for me, and I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the cast and the actors. I thought it was fun, so I'm going to have to go with a 4.
All right. 4.
Out of 5.
Out of 5.
We watch movies. That's what we do.
Tony?
4 out of 5, easy. I mean, there's a lot of interplay with the family there at the beginning, and it starts off as this pristine family, and you see all the kind of inner workings of how all that kind of becomes a train wreck, and there's some interesting kind of stuff between that. The characters, I thought, even though you don't get a ton of them, they are all really interesting characters and stuff, and you have super sharp ones, and you have some really dull ones, if we're going to use knives as the metaphor, and how those and how that plays together. So I mean, and the whole way they chose to tell the story that you're talking about, it's like, oh, okay, well that's different, you know, and then it became a lot about the interactions and stuff. So, and even to the end, I'm waiting to see, is there another twist in this? Because you're like, oh. Okay, no other
Well,
twist.
they kind of get you almost there at the end. Like, you think something's going to
it's
happen,
like, all
and
right,
then
something. So it was good enough that I'm still going, hold on, there might be something here. And there wasn't. So it kept you kind of guessing through it. So I enjoyed it. 4 out of 5.
I'm going to go with a 2.
Oh.
I'm going to go
still
half.
have the lowest score.
Yeah, I'm going to go a 2 out of 5. Yeah, it wasn't my type of murder mystery movie. It had a lot more to add for me to put it up higher on my list. So I'm going to go with a 2 out of 5. So that is our review of Knives Out. If you've seen it, let us know in the comments what you thought, and visit movierounders.com where you can rate the movie yourself if you want to give it 2 stars like me or 4 stars like them, or maybe you love the movie and give it 5 stars. I don't know. But stick with us throughout December as we get ready to review Christmas movies and some of our top movies at the end of the year, because Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. So,
Go see this
thank
movie.
you for watching our movie review, and stick with us right here next time where we review the movie and you control the camera.